Hey everybody, welcome back to the live stream. I'm Christopher Dahl. Welcome to Friday at Space Art by Christopher Dahl here in my studio. We have a different microphone this week, and it's like right in my ear. Hold on a second, let me turn that down. Okay, cool. Hey, thank you everyone. Good to see you here. Each week we get together and we do a live space art painting. So that's what we're going to do today, and I have a model in front of me. Actually, I'm gonna turn my mic thing off for a second, so I can. I don't want to hear myself as much. There we go. That's gonna help. It comes back to me on a delay, and it's really distracting. Okay, now I can actually speak like a human being again. Okay. Anyway, hello everyone. So, I have a model here this week. Yes, models. When I'm in the middle of my studio, if I'm getting stuck on one particular thing or another, I will sometimes turn around and grab a model kit and just get my mind out of the rut. I had some ruts over the last couple of weeks, so I came up with this beautiful little thing. This is Deep Space Nine. This is an old model kit too, by the way. This one I think was first made in 1996, 95, 96 or something like that. Anyway, it's a bit of a pariah out there amongst the Star Trek model community. A lot of people say it's like a warped kit, and it won't. You know, it's flimsy and everything. I have to say, after putting it together, I don't know. I kind of disagree. For an older model, sure, there were some extra steps and everything, but it actually it holds together remarkably well, and it's actually not too bad. I'm digging it. Nothing fancy with this one. No lights or anything. Like, it's just going to be a paint job. Something I do on my free time. But anyway, models in the studio. That's right. We are all things sci-fi and spacey. Here we go. I'm going to go find a place for this. I'll put it right behind me on this chair. There we go. Because no one ever sits on a model when they're on the chair. Hey, awesome. Thank you all for joining. As usual, we do this. The drink of choice this week is coffee, courtesy our Dollhouse Baked Goods mug. Thank you so much. I have all this artwork from our Dollhouse times here. And let me see if I can hold that up there. There we go. Yes. Space art. In the Dollhouse Baked Goods. Yeah, I did a whole bunch of these cards and a lot of artwork in watercolor. So we don't really have a place for them. So I think they're going to go in the store. I think I'm going to be putting them in the store because we do get asked for them, especially by people that followed us on the bakery. And it's very cute stuff. So I'm going to be making use of the Space Art by Christopher Dahl store. Hang on, carpet issues. There we go. Need better rugs. Anyway, let's get things rolling. It's going to sound a little different this week, and I apologize for that because, let me get rid of that, don't save. Chasing some issues with my stuff here. Anyhow, so here's the Space Art store. I'm going to drop some links here early, and then I'll be done with it. You'll have to deal with me for the rest of the time. There we go. So there's the store. There we go. Awesome. Hey, mediocre model, how you doing? Greetings. He says, that's a great kit, and you can hang it easily. I like that. I've noticed that too. Like I said, I was kind of, I mean, yeah, it's remarkably strong, right? It's kind of cool. These sections are two pieces, and independently they're very flimsy, but when they come together, and if you use a good model cement on it, it actually becomes very structural. I'm kind of surprised. Hey, here's Tasty Whale. How you doing today, Tasty Whale? I'm playing with spaceships. But yeah, I'm on a rewatch of all of Deep Space Nine. It's one of my things I put in the background. I'll do shows, I'll do podcasts, I'll do whatever. But this is what happens when I watch a show. I got to go into the archive and build a model from that show, and that's what happened with this one. I had this kit. Let me see. I've got the box back here. Hold on a second. Let me grab the box. I need some distance from this beast. Oh, it's covered. Hang on. I'll show you the edition. Not that it matters, but it's fun. The model bench back over here. Thank you. One of these weekends, I need to do a closer tour. Need to set it up and do a closer tour of the model side here. Now it's still a mess, but it's a functional mess, right? Hey, Houdini Bob, how you doing today? Happy Friday, greetings. Hey, Here we go. Good tree topper. Yeah, this is an excellent tree topper, right? So it was this edition. As you can see, I've had the box for a while. It's been crunched a little bit. There's nothing. There's not even decals in this edition, which is pretty funny. So the Deep Space Nine model, it builds into one of these, and you know, uh, I'm sure that everyone that builds models knows this trick. You know, you get like fancy clear. There's like little clear parts, right? And so of course your first instinct is to say, I've got to light this model. Well, you know, the instant I add lights to a model, it slows me down. So I just wanted to do a build and paint. Hope your free day is going well. A free day is going very well, thanks. And I hope it's going well for you too. No, it's exciting. The last few weeks, actually since the first of the year, since restarting the live stream, it's picking up pace, and it makes me feel good. So thank you all for sticking around, and I hope it's fun. What would the decal be? Quark's bar? I know, right? I mean, the new editions of this kit, they keep remaking this model, right? I mean, the Round 2, who now owns the molds and the license and everything like that. They did something really clever. They re-released this model in clear plastic, so you can light it. You basically, in clear, you just fill it with lights, right? You paint it, and then you etch away your paint where you want where windows go. And this thing has like thousands of windows. If you think like the Enterprise D has a lot of windows, this is probably right up there. But so I would actually like to light it. And the reason I'm bringing up decals is in the new versions of this kit, they print decals for like this version, where they're little white windows, right? So I could just cover this in windows without painting them or anything like that. But I have to buy the kit to get those. So my budget, my model budget right now is pretty zero, but that's okay because I have so many models. Like Deep Space Nine. And guess what's next? When I get this just to a paint stage, I've got the runabout. Yay! Pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, it's a good time. Not everyone appreciates the model stuff as much, but I do know that it's fun. So I have to do some more just straight model streams. That would be cool. Anyway, okay, so I got I got the Space Art Store link. Let me get the link to the Discord. If any of you, if you're just joining, you're welcome to drop by our Discord. So here we go. Let me drop that in, and here's that one. I know I should probably automate this. So yeah, join if you want to join our Discord. It looks like Discord has shoved off the crazy behavior of you know. Anyway, so they're not going to do the crazy AI stuff. Oh, by the way, the sound is really weird this week. I have a different microphone that I'm using. I'm not using Mr. Crackle over here, which I think might be the last thing I have to chase down the problems from. Yeah, we had I kind of felt like I had to end the live stream last week a little early because the static was bad. There's bad power in here. We have not updated the wiring to really any part of the house, including this room. So that's probably a little sketchy. Plus, with the dry air, being winter, a lot of static in the air. Anything like this is just going to pick up static like crazy, and we'll see how long it takes for this microphone to go nuts on it. Anyway, so the last thing I want to do, for those of you that are so inclined, if you want to join me over on my Patreon page, I'm gonna put that in the Discord in the chat here. We have both free and paid memberships. The paid folks get to see all sorts of really cool stuff on the inside, plus a Patreon-only live stream, which we will be doing this Sunday at 3 p.m. So yeah, thanks a lot for sticking around. Even the free stuff. I'm re-releasing my old comic strip, Breaking Fitz Law, because there's some new stuff coming up in that realm. We've also been doing our Space Frog paintings, so doing a lot of Space Frog. There's some Space Frog stuff coming up that I hope that you all enjoy as much as I do, because it's something new and something fun and different. And yeah, if you want to get in on the action, of course, everyone that joins in as a Patreon subscriber, that helps support the channel and we can do more stuff, which is cool. Hey, Edward Bartlett, how you doing? Greetings, thank you. And of course, you're welcome to if you subscribe here. I need to get a couple more. We're going to be doing some subscriber only stuff on YouTube. So maybe that will be our model night. I don't know. We'll do some floating ones here. I've got to add that in now that I've sort of isolated some of the tech issues. I think we got that going. Hey, the good shot of my coffee here. That's fantastic, right? Oh yeah, very cool. Let's see if I can turn my camera. There we go. My camera is just janky as all get out. So there we go. Let's I'm gonna see what let me pull out what we're gonna work on this week. I am gonna start it off a little differently this week. We are going to us. Let me make sure I can actually. I need a thing here. Where's my glare? Where's my glare? Am I gonna get a glare there? It's not bad. Not bad. There we go. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Little test card. I have a, we're going to do some painting first this week. I haven't done a straight up space painting in kind of a while. So I kind of felt like, maybe this week, not a bad idea. Let's do something kind of fun, a little different. Let's go back to the roots a little bit. And I have this canvas here. This is an 11-inch by 14-inch canvas. Yeah, it's pretty bright. I know. I'm getting some pretty nasty glare. I'll adjust my lights if it's a problem. Okay, how's that sound? Da da da. Oh, see, maybe I did need to go a little bit more over that way. There we go. Then we can just kind of. Oh, I think I could move this whole thing. There we go. There we are. Yeah, it's professional live stream here, everybody. Professional painter live stream guy. Right? Oh, it's always janky. It's always a little bit janky. We're all pros here. Anyway, so I haven't done. Oh gosh, cat hairs. Hope that's all it was. I know I could probably jam this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, yeah, I might just do that. I'm getting a pretty nasty glare. At some point, funds permitting, we'll get better lights in here too. But if I waited for it to be perfect, I wouldn't have a live stream at all. All right, here we go. Let me get out our paints this week too. So I'm also going back to some of our. I'm gonna go for we're gonna go for a heavy body acrylic here. So I'm gonna pull a couple of these out. Burnt sienna, raw sienna, yellow oxide, don't want that. Naphthol crimson, we might need that one. Yellow medium, sure. We'll probably need black. I'm pulling out some paint. Oh, we're definitely gonna need some titanium white. Oh, I got phthalo green. I'm not gonna do the green. I want the aqua though. I want that one for sure. I'm going to do phthalo blue. I think this one has my reds, right? This one does not have my reds. That's the other one. Okay, cool. I think I have enough to get started. Hey, Edie's here. How you doing, Edie? Greetings. How'd you survive the blizzard there, Edie? Hope it wasn't too terrible. Just getting our paints out here now. Greetings. Let's see. I'm gonna want some orange for this one. I'm gonna definitely want. I've got some Naphthol crimson already, so I'm not gonna worry too much about that. We got medium magenta, but I should use the smaller one. There we go. Yeah, I think that I'll. Oh yeah. There we go. Some cadmium red light, and then I'll dive in as I need it later. There we go. Oh, and the blues. I did not grab a good blue. Let me see here. Professional live streamers would be. We'd already have this stuff ready, right? Yeah, but I don't want to do that. We're not going to do that. Cerulean, maybe. Yes. No. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do cerulean. Krillin. And I could probably use that later too. And a little ultramarine. Okay, there we go. All right. Indanthrene on the cuff. I just wanted to make sure I had some paints out. You made it through. Whatever snow that was left is now melting. Cool. Awesome. Good job. But yeah, if if any of you notice the sound is clipping or any of that kind of stuff, just let me know. I can bring it back a little bit. Um, I am using a different microphone than I had last week, and it's kind of like right in front of my face. So yeah, it's right above me here. There we go. It may be a lot. We'll see. Yay! All right, here we go. So let's see. I've got some things here. I'm gonna line these up. Also, I have my gigantic container of brushes, although I also have a bunch on the side here. So I think I'm gonna go with what am I gonna go with? Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. Oh yeah, there we go. That one for sure. That one outside. Right. Okay. Moving them on out. Got my reds and my oranges and yellows. There we go. And for a start, I'm going to do a little bit of the burnt sienna. Oh wait, I wanted raw umber, or I wanted burnt umber. I could do this one. Hang on, folks. Changing it up. There it is. There's some burnt umber. There we go. Got some burnt umber. Not burnt sienna. I wanted burnt umber. Sound is fine. Great. Thank you. Awesome. All right, and what I use for my my palettes, I've got clear, basically glass here. That's kind of my go-to for this stuff. I'll try to keep it so you can kind of see what I'm doing, but I sort of want a dark. I'm gonna go with a little bit of burnt umber, and this is all water-based acrylic. So I basically have some water in front of me. There we go, and da, 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 da. A touch of I'm going to go with a touch of ultramarine blue and a little touch of that magenta. Where's my quinacridone? You know what? After all that, I did not pull out quinacridone magenta. Freak. Oh, my word. Professional live stream. Everybody. Yes, indeed. I pulled out the other magenta. I pulled out the medium. Right. At some point, we'll actually get to painting. Right. Green, medium magenta. Got to pin me. There we go. Wanted a magenta. So annoying. Okay. A little bit of that there. Okay. I could have just grabbed black. That's just not the way I roll. Not the way I'm going to roll with it here, right? Boom, and then some of this. I didn't want black. I wanted dark. I didn't want black. I have this canvas. Wait, 14 by 18 is what it is. I'm sorry. I probably said the wrong size. 14 by 18. Yeah, this is going to be dark. Maybe not dark enough. I need more blue. I need more blue in this. It is it's only a it's thin, so it's only whatever that is, not even half of an inch. Whoa, ended up catching a stream. How you doing? Greetings. Hey, it's James from the planetarium. Hello, James from the planetarium. I didn't get out for your last one, but it looked really cool. How you doing? We're gonna be space art, and it's kind of sci-fi art today. More sci-fi than maybe spacey. I did we have a wonderful little planetarium near us here at Clarion College. Very vintage planetarium, very, very cool stuff. I was thrilled to go there, and looking forward to going again. Honestly, we just yeah. Hey, greetings. Let me just get some more blue onto this one here. There we go. I haven't used some of these in a while. It's just kind of the way it goes. Projects go from one to the other. We used to have more music in the background, and I have not rectified that as yet. So I should go. Maybe I could do that real quick. Let's just see how we can. See what we got here. Oh, it couldn't find any music. Oh, that's so great. all the things that I haven't set up on this machine. It's hilarious. You know what? We are just not going to do that. Never mind. We don't have it. Not today. There we go. Anyway, we're going to do another sci-fi scene today. It's part of I think I'm going to turn this into a series. It's going to be a jump gate scene, if you will. And I have some ideas in my head of how I want to approach it. So let me see if I can't pull this off. You know, fingers crossed, right? I'm going to start with a pretty good size. I want to start with a large brush. I want to start with this brush. So this is about an inch and a quarter brush. Oh, sorry. There we are. We'll see if we can't get this underway. Get some water on here. I have prepared the canvas with a little bit of a gesso, just a straight up white gesso, nothing extraordinary. I didn't even sand it. It was pretty smooth as it was. I'm hoping that this will take nicely. Kind of get this thinned out here. And again, folks, for those of you that might be here for the first time, this is all from scratch. So this is a blank canvas, and I sort of have a general idea of where I want to go, but all of this is really just on the fly. So, woohoo! All right, let me see. I'm just gonna kind of get my framed up bit here. Oh yeah, and while I'm working on this, later on in the broadcast, I'll be doing the space frog painting. We're doing a space frog collage painting set, which has been pretty fun. So I'm just using this paint to sort of get my darks in here and to create some shapes that I want to work with. And we need to, let's just see, need to establish a core line here. And we are gonna, I'm doing some things that are going to help me establish the scene a little bit. One thing I'm going to do, and I am using it's kind of a brownish, right? A little bit on the brown side. I'm going to use this color to sort of fill in the scene a little bit. As it'll get me a good base. So here we go. We're just going to get the corners, and this wasn't going to be our final color at all. This is just kind of me setting up the scene. And, you know, as you can see, you're going to get a lot. I could use, what do you call it? I could use some flow enhancers and stuff on this. I'm just going to get the paint down. We're going to fill all this in as we go anyway. Oop, there we go. Get this out of the way. This way I can kind of get the edges while we go. And by doing this, I'm going to prevent myself from going off the edge of the canvas, which I did, let me grab that. This is from a couple of weeks ago. We did this painting, the Enterprise. I drew it too close to the edge of the painting's edge. So I always feel bad when I do that. It's so annoying. No way. We have the Hayden Planetarium here at the Museum of Natural History. I have been to the Hayden Planetarium. That is a cool planetarium. But adult general admission with all ticket exhibitions is $35 for New York State residents, $41 for everyone else. Hey, you know what, Edie? I got to go for free with my daughter, who was a student at SBA at the time. So we went, and she had a student pass to get in there. It was great. Oh wait, I think I paid. I paid like it was like leaving a donation, right? Is what I did, and it was basically the same amount. But it was pretty cool to be able to say, "Hey, we can get in all this stuff." When Allison was going there, that we went to a lot of stuff. We got into the Met several times. We went to the Met, which is great. And it's really fun visiting the Met with a kid that's studying art and designs. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but you know what? Here's the cool thing about that. All that money basically goes into the system there. It's sure it's a good chunk of money, but it also goes to a good cause. Because the Hayden Planetarium is very much involved in STEM outreach and does some amazing stuff. So I consider it a good use of my funds. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Good times. Yeah. Alrighty, so I'm going to kind of see if I could do a little bit of... You don't have a lot of time with acrylic to do a lot of blending, right? So, yeah. Alright. Now that I've kind of got this in here... Ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Alright, here we go. So the last... my last time I did the concept that we're working on here, the jump gate. Let me go ahead and just pull that up onto my other screen here. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, yeah, here we go. Is it that one? Yeah, here we are. So on my store, in fact, I just put a hey, look, it's on my store. Haha. No, this is the painting. I wanted to show everyone. Let's see if it'll pull up here. Jump Gate 5 is the one. We'll see if it's going to be recalcitrant. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be recalcitrant. All right, never mind. Anyway, Jump Gate 5 on the store. There we go. I'm also experiencing technical issues with some internet site usage. It's really weird. Nothing will ever work. Sitting on billion-dollar endowments. Yes, they are. Of course they are. Yep. Some do better than others with all that. I'm not going to hold it against the idea of a museum for sure. All right, I want some action in this section. I want action out there. All right, here we go. If I get this thinned out enough. Maybe I can even use some of my blue in here, since I'm going to trend this one a little blue anyway. Let's see if I can grab a little bit of this. And we'll get a little... I'm going to mix this one straight on. And it's going to be a mistake. There we go. But this will be good. Nah, it won't be a mistake. I want a dark corner down here to sort of ground it. And I'm going to do the same on this corner over here. All right. Yeah, not as advanced as the Hayden. You know what was interesting about? I was able to go to Hayden and see. You know, they've got the full-on gigantic 3D experience, right? They've got the high def cameras. I think they've even updated them since I was last there. But you know what? Then I go back to our little Clarion, our Clarion planetarium. That actually has one of the older style planetarium projectors, right? And those are the kind where basically it's all lenses and motors and gears and really bright optics or really bright lights on the inside of those things. I like the experience of in fact I actually prefer the experience of an older school style planetarium. Once your eyes get adjusted to the darkness of the room, I personally think it's more well, it's more analog for one thing, so you don't kind of get that inherent digital quality, which is great. Yes. Free is great. Edie, you're not going to take the drive here, but I appreciate the thought. Yeah, it's on canvas. Anyway, it's pretty cool. I don't mean to presume. You might. I don't. And I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to stop you. That's for sure. But yeah. Cheers. Alrighty. So with the painting here, I'm trying to just set up my scene a little bit. All right. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna let that set up for a second. I've got some colors here. I want to set those aside. This one's going to dry up. You know, kind of palette management as we go here. Anyway, it's been a while since I've done a full-on space kind of painting, so a modest size of 40 foot. Old analog projectors have those pinpoint stars that look more like natural skylight. I agree. I love them. I love the older style. I love the older style projectors. Well, that one end up in the store. Which one? Oh, the oh, but Houdini Bob. It is in the store. Yes, it is. I just dropped that one in, or this one. Will this one end up in the store? Is that what you mean? I will absolutely put this one in the store. Yeah, the new ones coming up are all kind of going in. I had some technical difficulties with my store this last fall that seemed to be corrected. It was very weird. It was very weird. So I'm trusting my store now. I'm tentatively going forward. The last thing I wanted to do is introduce problems. Let me, while this is setting up, let me grab another painting here. Hold tight. Hold tight. Alrighty. There we go. You know, truth be told, I haven't been very good at truth be told, I haven't been very good at keeping up with my store. So there's gonna be more of that. Now, here's a refresh from last week. Here's our. Oops, sorry. Let me do this, and there we go. Where the heck am I gonna? Oh, that's right. It's this side. That's I was backwards. Here's our current state of the Space Frog collage paintings. So cool. It's kind of fun, and. This one's a 16 by 20 canvas. It's a little larger than this one, but this is the one we did last week. This was Inglorious Bastards was this one. We're doing a square on this one each week, and I we'll be getting to that one either at the end of the stream or we'll see how I feel. I get pretty shot after a couple of hours on the live stream here. There we go. It I don't know. It still takes a lot out of me. I feel bad about that. I need to be doing better about just continuing on with the painting. I was trying to go to find old derelict planetariums that want to get started back up. This one I found is about 30 foot high at a high school. The town was once more depressed and are trying to revitalize. Oh, cool. I love finding those. I think we talked a while back. I was at Lansing Community College way back in the day. And they had one of these planetariums, and I think they had that same telescope setup or the projector setup that you were discussing. The short of it is, at the height of the Apollo, NASA thing, apparently the government put a ton of money out to get people interested, and they threw these planetariums out to any place that would take them, colleges, schools, everything. So it was pretty cool. The mayor gave $1 million grant to a cafe. Oh my gosh! Wow. How'd you like to run a cafe and get $1 million grant? That's pretty cool. Set up with a super high def digital system. That would be really great. That would be a lot of fun. I play around with Blender enough to be dangerous, and I do know that kind of coming up with a sort of 3D sort of show would be really fun. So hey, who knows? Stranger things have happened, right? All right, I'm gonna grab a little bit. I'm gonna get back into the painting here a little bit. We're gonna go blue right now. I'm going to put a little cerulean blue out here. As you can see, it's definitely a little lighter, but I'm also going to lighten it up with just some straight titanium white, actually. Nothing fancy here. And then I've kind of got a little bit of orange on the board here on this one. So I'm going to just see about... I probably have enough here to gray it up. Let's grab some of this. This will gray down with the application of any kind of an orange. It'll gray down certainly with that chromatic black that I had. I want kind of a dirty, muddy blue, and that's what I'm getting right here. Although I might want to adjust that a little bit. I feel like I want a Raw sienna? Yeah, let's do a little raw sienna. I want a little bit of a lighter yellow for it. Oh, the banner one. Oh, yeah, that one. Oh, I'm sorry, that one is in the store as well. I weirdly having trouble getting onto some of these pages. Let me see if I can pull it up. That one is called. It's a close up. The banner's a close up of a different one here. Come on, come on. Let me see if I keep trying to. Let's see. Let's grab this one. Please, please. Yeah, see, this is what I'm getting. This is really strange. I have I have to do a little thing here. Okay, this ought to do it. Remove changes. There we go. And let's hit it again. There we are. Space Art Store. Oh, it didn't do it. I get that wrong. Go figure. I can't. Nothing can work right for me. All right, here, let me go. Let me go in and find it. There we go. Orbital Storm is what that one was called. That is. There we are. That is this one right here. Orbital Storm. I have the original. I think I have prints of this one. Yeah, the banner does like a close up of just like this. The banner is like a strip right down here, which honestly is a really exciting section of that painting. So yeah. Hey, you said I've used Blender a couple of times. Is it Jens or Jenish? I've used Blender a couple of times for my online stuff. Nothing fancy, but I've seen people do insane stuff with it that I can only inspire to. Oh, Blender's yeah. I used to be quite a 3D dude with 3D Studio Max years ago. So I've been coming back to it with Blender. Yes, the potential out of that is awesome. Learning curve is respectable, much better than it used to be. I will say that. So when I first started looking at Blender was many about 10 years ago, and it was rough. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's rough. But I'm finding even the 2D aspects of it are pretty cool. So, all right, now we got a good gray on here. That's kind of what I wanted. So in fact, I'm just gonna throw some in here, just like that. I've used Blender a couple of times. That was the same message. I'm using it now for a couple of things. One, I am doing some 2D animation, so cartoons, right? So kind of like what we're seeing with Space Frog here. Right now, while I'm yapping, I've got kind of this bluish gray that I'm going to use to lay in some other details of some stuff here. So there's a giant ship. It's going to be kind of wide like burgers. Wider is better. Yeah. So it's going to be this spaceship that's kind of in the middle there. So yeah, so I'm using Blender for 2D animation, but I'm also doing, I also want to do some 3D animation. I have some need for 3D printing, and I understand that workflow, so I'm doing a little bit of that. Alrighty. So yeah, a little bit of stuff, all the above. Okay. So kind of just laying this out to get the this is going to be some kind of weird spaceship, and I always do my spaceships kind of asymmetrical, slightly. Well, maybe not always. I guess the incidence of me drawing spaceships that are symmetrical versus asymmetrical are pretty even, all things considered. Anyway, so my experience with Blender so far is that, yes, it is getting better. It is a unique tool. It was built by community effort. So everything that you see in there was basically, volunteer, core tech, all of that, which is very, very cool. It's also why Blender remains free. It is shareware. So we're gonna ride with that. I am using my brush here to give me some shapes. And there we go. I'm liking it so far. Okay, I'm going to get that in. And I'm just, again, moving the paint. We are in moving the paint. All right, there we go. And since I have my cerulean blue here, I'm going to just grab a little bit more of this. There we go. And see if I can't get a little bit in there. This is sort of the, what am I doing here? This is like the happy accidents stage of any of my paintings, and this is certainly part of it. I'm trying not to leave too much here. I'm trying to get a nice little, slight gradient so that the surface isn't just all one color. I'm going to do it here with this blue first. But I've actually done some of my science fiction book covers that you see on my website. A bunch of those I have absolutely have gone into Blender. I did a real fun one last year where I got to do kind of like battle armor, sort of MAK style stuff. That was really cool. And my pal Jay Fitzpatrick Maldine, I've done a number of elements for his books. I typically will do some 3D support work, but I'm always painting over it. That's kind of my thing. I'll use it independently to establish some stuff, but I've never used it straight for the whole cover, like everything start to finish in the cover. It always ends up with some painting part of it. Oh, we've been working with 2D Blender to make laser shows because of integration with the laser program Beyond. Oh, that's awesome. No, that's really cool. I think I know what you mean. Yeah. So the 2D part of Blender feels way more intuitive than coming from After Effects. Oh, yeah. You're absolutely right there. I was a big Adobe guy for a very, very long time, and I will tell you, after knocking my head against the wall with After Effects and Premiere, don't even get me started on Premiere. Holy crap. There's a program that's had decades to get it better than what it is. So I decided, no, I'm done. I went to Blender and DaVinci Resolve, which, by the way, the free version of DaVinci Resolve, pretty awesome too. But if you're already underway with Blender, yeah, just stick with that. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you though. Don't use don't use After Effects anymore. That ship has sailed. Absolutely. Now I'm adding a little bit more of my brownish kind of. It is almost straight up brown in here, but it's going to be hard to. It's probably going to be hard to see, especially if my head's in the way. What I'm basically trying to do is come back over and fill in some of the paint that I had before. Look, it's still coming up. It's just not dried. That's all. That's the big problem with these. I will need to move from Houdini to Blender because Side Effects keeps making Houdini better, but at the cost of needing better hardware, which exceeds my laptop's graphic card. Oh, that was a problem I had too, Houdini Bob. I feel like I'm in a good spot with my laptop and Blender, but yeah, oh boy, I hear you there. My pal my partner in crime, Andrew, is using Houdini and is doing some work with Unreal, and I feel the pressure to check it out. I really do. Okay, I'm continuing with this phase here of just finding happy accidents, and I'm building on the original ones, but I'm coming in with my yellow almost straight up. This is going to interfere and mix with what's going on. My yellow is what was that again? Raw sienna? I think that's raw sienna. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it was raw sienna. So this is kind of raw sienna, and in theory, if I were being really super careful, super artist, I would be like mixing this up in order. But this is giving me some warmth to counter it with the very steel-looking colors of the ship, and I'm just going to keep adding a few more bits in here. And we're just going to kind of layer this in to be a thing. Don't get me wrong, I love Adobe, and it plays with other programs really well. I do a lot of work on Adobe, but it doesn't play well with external programs. That's too bad. You know, and that's a frustrating part with me. Basically, any of the canonical Adobe programs have been around long enough where you'd think they'd get it right. But I was in software. I know how, yeah. Software companies don't always do the right thing for the benefit of their users, even if their users have been using their stuff for many, many years. I just decided I was done. Plus, I'm broke. I am broke AF, so I was done paying for it. Anyway, I'm going to consider it an exciting jump for me to try something just a little bit different. Anyway, yeah, the tools are good. The hardest thing for me to leave Adobe world-wise is Photoshop, because that is really, for me, the OG package. That was the one. That was the original. All right, I don't know what I'm really going to do with this color, but I kind of just feel like I want to try this, and I'm going to see if we can't help build ourselves a scene. So we're using this color anyway. It's going to be reflected on the ship, and maybe we can't get some sort of peace of mind going here. Yeah. And if I did that, yeah, I'm trying not to interfere too much with the paint that's already in there. But what I want all of this white that you see. I want the white of the canvas already. I want it off. I don't want any on here. This is actually kind of fun. Just picking a couple of colors and building a scene as you go. Yeah, it's a good time. I swiped and I grabbed the brown that was sitting right there. Don't do that. Oh, happy accidents, everybody. Yes, it was. Totally happy accident. Not so happy. That was kind of annoying. That was kind of an annoying happy accident, right? That's kind of where that one goes. But yeah, we'll get some, yeah. Okay. I feel like this ship is doing like the stretching warp effect into there. Yes. All right, got some white here, so we're not gonna let that sit around. I'm gonna just kind of complete this. We're kind of doing a weird thing. So in the 70s, this would have been done with like slit screen, any of that kind of cool stuff. But we're doing it now with some white paint. So I kind of feel like there's a lot of setup to these paintings where they're really boring up until you get like some stuff on it. So yeah, now we have some stuff on it and it's less boring. I get frustrated at software companies when they're not doing the right thing, because I just tried so long to get them to do the right thing when I was working there, and I always felt like, I was beating my head against the wall. Hey, breaking Fitz Law, check out my strip on Patreon. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, yeah. Let me just I'm going to follow this out. I have an idea in my mind of what I'm doing, and I don't know if I'm doing it well. Yes, Adobe's a little expensive. We may be getting to the point where you might have to move off Adobe for open source programs. Probably going to have to start self-hosting our website soon. Yeah, that... Good luck with it. I've been through all of those. I bit the bullet and went to, what did I go to for my Photoshop replacement? Oh yeah, the Affinity stuff. And then Affinity decided that they're gonna just like make it all free, which is great. No, it's competent. It's very competent stuff. I can do everything I need to do within that package. So Affinity, Designer, Photo, and Publisher, well, whatever they're calling Publish or whatever, I forget. Decent stuff, honestly. worth it. Now I'm painting all of this in like just basic titanium white, but yeah, it's gonna be covered. I'm not gonna leave it that way. So yeah, there we go. We're just gonna add it so we have some brights. Now let's get some on the ship. Yeah. Right now the colors on this ship are pretty disastrous. It's all I'm kind of in between muddy and yeah, I'm kind of between muddy and just terrible. Don't worry, folks. We always rescue him in the end. No painting left behind, right? Yeah, no, it's all good. We're gonna make this one work. Ba-da-ba-ba-do-do-do-do-do. Come on, it's just getting to be fun is what we're doing. I'm gonna grab some dark. And since all my paint is starting to dry up anyway, we might even just get in a few of these. Yeah. Sometimes your ship needs to just be wide and not long. Right. Oh yeah. All right. I kind of feel like this is getting to a good point here. Oh, I still have this paint, this color. Okay, I'm gonna leave that color there. This one I'm gonna collide up there, and I'll see if I can't get that wiped off. Where's my thing? I just keep a spritz bottle handy. I hope I don't hit the painting. There we go. Gonna hit that. Let's see if we can clean this off. There we go. Yep. At least well enough, close enough for what we're gonna need going forward. And I have a bunch more of these too. All right. Very cool. Put my head back on there. I am going to go ahead and take a quick break. I was chugging coffee before this, so I'm going to take a quick break while we just kind of sit here and enjoy the look of the painting. Got to start in on what I'm going to call Jump Gate 6. Call it Jump Gate 6? The last one was Jump Gate 5. So Jump Gate 6. Yeah. Jump Gate 6. All right. Here we go, folks. I will be right back. Hang tight. Don't go away. I'll leave that right there, and we're go. Where is the rest of the coffee? This will give the painting a chance to sort of dry up a bit. Alrighty, here we go. Back to it. Yo, hey everybody, thank you for joining. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. Let me just pull this beast back up here. Dun, da, 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 da. Here we go. And we are painting live today. Hey, maybe I can pull up the, I'll bet I can now. There we go. Da, 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 da. I keep saying I can pull stuff up, and then I'm not. There we go. Okay, here we are. He says no. He says no. Okay, never mind. It's not showing up. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter anyway. How are we going? Right. I tried to keep the paint fairly thin here. Anyway, yes. Welcome back, Christopher Dell. Space Harbor Christopher Dell. Here on Friday. I almost forgot all of that. All right. I would like to introduce a little bit of my aqua. Gotta give Jon Snow his afternoon treats. Well, Jon Snow definitely needs his treats. Congratulations. Good luck. We're gonna mosey on along here. I'm gonna get a little bit of this teal with this raw sienna here to get kind of a muddy greenish kind of thing. I need a little bit of my magenta back. Yeah, I'm going to do a little medium magenta for this one. Not a ton, just a little bit. I want to just dirty this down a little bit. A little too dark. There we go. All right, there we go. Yeah, all right, there we are. I kind of wanted to maybe tackle something that was a little dinged up. It's not so bright and shiny. Yeah, there we are. Oh man, this is like a good military color. I don't know if this is gonna work for what I'm trying to do, but we're just gonna give it a shot anyway, right? That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Here we go. All right, let me just kind of see what I'm looking at here. I just want to get. Yeah, it's gonna just smear. That's not what I want, but we will muddy this in there. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there we go. I don't think this is quite what I want. It's too close to my other color. It's basically my other color. All right, I'm just going to set that one aside. Did not want that. What do I want for this? Maybe I can sort of use it to refine some of this. That's what I'm going to do. I have kind of, I'm envisioning this as like a very flat vehicle, if you will. I don't know, maybe I'll use this to kind of fill in my my darks in here. I don't really have this completely covered in here. And this has too many whites. There's too many whites on this one. Oh my god, no, I'm not talking race wars here. No, it's just kidding. This ship is way too white, boy. Guilty as charged. No. I do love that grungy art style, rusted, banged up. Thank you. I kind of do too. You know, that Nostromo alien kind of thing. You know, maybe it's the bucket that's lined up. You know, the way I think of the jump gate stuff is, you know, these are ships that line up to go through one of these to get from point A to point B, and they're not capable of actually making the trip on their own, right? So they're just kind of they're reliant on an infrastructure in space to get them from planet to planet, and I kind of, you know, there's something kind of fun about that, because you got to imagine the life of the people that would run these ships. Like, okay, I bought this thing, and I'm paying these gigantic fees to keep this stupid ship running, and which it probably is. It's probably like running a not a sailboat, but like, yeah, like it's probably like running a sailboat. Yeah, it's probably all of that, or a merchant marine ship of some kind. You know, you're basically you're giving your wares, right? Your wares are transport. All right, we're just gonna keep adding things to it. Okay, so this is the area. It's a little bit of refining right there, and I'm gonna darken it a little bit intentionally with this brown. it's not really full brown, right? It's actually, this one's a burnt. Oh, wait, maybe that one is. Yeah, maybe that one is. Oh, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Let's not do that. Okay, cool. Yeah, gray that back up again. We don't want to do that entirely. All right, let's clean this up a bit. I'm liking the darker shapes in here. I wanted one bright panel in the back, though, so I'm going to keep that right there. And we need this to be kind of a space under the back there. Yeah. And then we'll add some extra bits of stuff that will eventually fill in out here. Right. Now, if you notice, the ship here, I'm building. I'm get my face out. The ship I'm building up in these kind of grayed out blues, right? Grayed out blues, and what's basically kind of starting to come in as a little bit of purple. Oh, that'd be kind of fun. Let me add some of that, and that'll add to it. I have some magenta that will work out very nicely in here. So I'm kind of wanting the ship here to be mainly the cooler colors, even though they're a little grungy. That's kind of part of it. And then the gate itself on this one, I want that to be kind of in the hot oranges. The hot orange bit. There we go. Yeah, there we are. Oh, this is actually weirdly enough. This is kind of going to where I want it to go, and it's always a mystery to me, folks. I do these every week, and I never really know what's going to happen with them. But yeah, if you notice, I'm still just painting with a flat brush. Hey, Edie's back. Greetings. How you doing? Ed Bob's back. Hey. All right, we got all the animals fixed and fed. That's cool. That's cool. I almost brought a cat in, but that's so chaos. It's so chaos. I can't do it yet. And your clothes are nice and clean now. Okay, very good. Very good. Well, these are important things, right? These are absolutely important things. No lie. Okay. I want to restore here. Oh, that's just too much of that. There we go. This brush will give a nice knife edge if you need it. So I want to restore some of these lines that I lost, right? So this one in particular, and those up there, because that was kind of helping me. This was definitely helping me on this one. Let's see. I actually have a glare right there. All right, there we go. Boom, boom. I had a really cool dark detail in this side that I wanted to preserve, but we'll get there once this kind of sets up. We'll just move on to some others. Okay, and what else am I seeing? Oh, I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing that. I don't want to see those. Right. All right, there we go. So it is, yeah, it's coming up as a mess. It's definitely coming up as a mess. All right, there we go. It's looking really good. Thank you, Edie. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I have to... There we go. This is all to sort of giving it the... And then we have to have a very bright... There's going to be a bright spot right here, and I'm going to have to just sort of like bring it in here. There we go. Yeah. I'm just going to keep that for later. All right. Let me see. How do I want to go about this? Are these set up yet? A little bit. The nice thing about acrylics, even though they dry fast, they dry fast. It's actually kind of a nice thing. I'm gonna get some water droplets off there that spilled on it. There we go. All righty. I think, yeah, no burnt orange. Right. Exactly. I do want to add some of that, though. I want to kind of get I have my cadmium-free orange. Ha! So I'm going to add some of that right over here. And I do kind of want my medium magenta. I don't. I feel like this is probably too early. It probably is too early for me to be going to these colors, but I feel like I need to check out what's going on with um, uh, my jump gate here before I go too far. I'm gonna use some Napthal Crimson's a nice red, but it's a semi-transparent. So I'm hoping I can make that kind of work. All right. And I'm actually going to switch to a different jar of water. My water's getting pretty filled up there. So let me grab some of my orange, and I'm going to see if I can't. I'm sort of hoping to do is kind of tint these rays just a touch. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no burnt orange on this one. No. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. I watched. What did I see this week? It's funny when you find something you haven't seen in a while. The 1982 movie Brainstorm. It was a Douglas Trumbull effects powerhouse movie, is what it was. So yeah, and it was very cool. I haven't seen that in a while, and a couple of things struck me. It was actually it did a remarkably good job of portraying future internet automation technology, given its year. A lot of times people don't get that very well, but this one did pretty good. Oh, I got a little purple in this one, so I think I'm going to have to just go with that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I think I grabbed the magenta, actually, is what I grabbed. Yeah, I kind of see the magenta. There we go. Bum, bum. I'm going to try a little bit of my magenta in there. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. It could attract. Yeah. There's definitely there's definitely yeah, the area is definitely kind of depressed, to say the least. It's rural America. Yeah, that's how it goes. I have studio space. It's kind of funny. I kind of works out good. But there is actually opportunities for that sort of thing near where I'm at. Yeah. Studio space for space artists. Yeah. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. Anyway, Brainstorm, 1982 movie. Now remember, Douglas Trumbull is the person who was primarily responsible for the Stargate sequence at the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was it was his stuff, right? Well, you see it come up in or later iterations of it quite a lot in the effects bits of Brainstorm, which is actually pretty cool. And I was watching it going, if I did X, Y, and Z, I'll bet I could get something close to that if I painted it just like I'm showing you here. So, yeah, I'm kind of following little bits of that. Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of nice to get back in here and do a little bit of do some new paintings. I am actually to a point where I do need to do a lot of I have to add more paintings is what I've got to do. An artist calling himself 1000 bought a warehouse for a stinking $100,000. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. When Stephanie and I were looking originally at moving out of our place. We were in Washington State for a while. We found a couple of places that were like either either a warehouse or it had retail space below and apartments above, kind of like old brick building kind of thing. We saw a couple of those that we really, oh, it would have been cool. There was one in Menominee, Michigan, right on the main drag. I still think that building would have been pretty cool. Someone else snagged it, but that's okay. Nothing as low as 100,000 though. I think everything that we saw, like the Menominee building, was more like 230, and that was almost 10 years ago when we saw that. The trick is you can get the buildings that cheap, but usually like $100,000 building will often have like a $700,000 repair bill to keep it going. So you really have to be willing to sort of not suffer. You're living on the edge. You're living on the edge, people. You live on the edge a little bit for a while, and that's okay. Easier to do in your 20s, but not impossible to do when you're older. I give them a lot of credit. Burnt orange is school colors for that university down the. Oh, okay, gotcha. The university down the road here. Oh, how close are you to Western Michigan University? I actually went there. They had some burnt orange in it. No, it wasn't burnt orange. It was like a yellow, but yeah. So now is kind of the fun part. You get kind of a boring painting here, boring colors, realistic colors, and then you come in with the crazy stuff, and it starts looking a little Stargate-ish. And I purposefully have been choosing these colors to get this effect. Yeah. So we're gonna, yeah. Yes, Texas and yes. Oh yes. I haven't spent a lot of time in the Austin area, but I did go a couple of times, and yes, there was definitely a lot of burnt orange. Yes. There we go. I want the explosion part of the Stargate to feel like there's a mechanism there of some kind, and it's yeah, just kind of there doing its thing. There we go. Oh, I keep reaching over the painting when I do this. All right. That kind of turned out more fun than I thought. I had actually a lot of fun doing that. I am going to take a smaller brush here. I'm going to get a little bit of my straight orange. We need some Stargatey effects. I think where are some other Stargates that were pretty cool? Babylon 5, of course, had some Stargate structures, right? And well, of course, Stargate did. But I'm kind of thinking more along the lines of like the Tannhauser Gate Stargate is what I'm kind of going for here. Whatever occurs in your mind's eye when you're watching Blade Runner. So yeah. I'm just making theme music for my painting. Go figure. And then I'm just kind of making sure that this orange gets an appearance all over. There we go. Jump gate. my last one was jump gate 6, so or 5. So I think I have to make this one jump gate 6 is where I have to go, right? It is in a series after all. Is flying out of the Stargate or is it being sucked in? I don't know. I think it's flying in. I feel like this is a ship flying into the Stargate. Like it's on its way to a very important event, right? The director's cut of Blade Runner. Oh yes, absolutely. It is. I'm overdue for a Blade Runner viewing, to say the least. There we go. I think my dad out of guilt for not taking me to see Alien took me to see Blade Runner, and I'm very thankful. I did see Blade Runner in the theater, and it was the full the first theatrical shot of Blade Runner was that horrible narration, which I never really thought was horrible until I read how it went down. And it was like, oh no, you guys, no way. Harrison Ford's just like, I can't do that. This is stupid. And then they're like, yeah, you're contractually obligated. And so he just like meandered his way through it. Well, see, it looks like it's being sucked in. I feel like that might be part of the effect, right? Like you get to a certain threshold, Edie, right? And then it just like it drags you in, and reality becomes strange. Oh, there's a good one in the movie Contact, right? When she's flying to when she first goes through, and she gets to Vega, right? And you see kind of like the mechanics vaguely. You see like some array of technology, mysterious technology once she arrives there. It's pretty cool. That was kind of my favorite part of that was like, wait a second, I want to see more of what that is. What's going on there? No, not showing you. You can't see it. Like, damn. We're gonna get some aspects. So, okay, being sucked in. I am okay with that. I am absolutely okay with that effect. Yeah, the Mickey Spillane voiceover. Harrison Ford did not want to do that. That was not something he was very. Yeah, I guess they did it in an afternoon. And he was like, nah. I get the impression that when Harrison Ford sees something that he really doesn't like. Yeah. Oh, you're off to do Nerd Things, your local card shop. Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by. Please have a great week. Stay safe. Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. Well, it's nice to be back on. It's kind of fun to be doing a full-on painting, too. So, adding a little bit of, I'm going to get some yellow in here, my medium yellow. And I do want to restore some raw sienna. This is helping me define what's dark and what's light a little bit. Now you are experiencing a little bit of a glare. Let me, if I, there we go. That's like less glare right there, right? Zap, bap, zap, zoop, zap, 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 zap. Yeah. All right. We're gonna do a little bit of this, a little bit of. Oh, it's outside the view. I'm trying to mix up a bright yellow here. And I'm going to. I'm going to do a yellow. A very yellow. I'd like more yellow than that, please. Okay, get it a good mix. There we go. Righto. Now coming back in with my brush. I'm purposely choosing a rectangular shaped brush here, just to it will affect the brush stroke that I'm getting out of here. And I'm going to try to fill in the brightest portions here. Something that's a little bit yellow. The movie was better than the book, but the book helped me understand the movie. Oh, absolutely. It was a very loose interpretation of the book. I do remember, Philip K. Dick actually passed away shortly after that movie came out, or maybe he didn't even see the theatrical release. He did see. I do know that he's quoted a couple of places where he says that it felt to him like the special effects that he saw were pulling the book right out of his head, is what he said, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, it is a vastly different story than what you're expecting. It is definitely a loose interpretation. But yeah, it's fascinating. I'm not as fond of the book, honestly. It's good for definitely for what it was, but the Blade Runner the movie is just kind of like a different creature, right? I feel like it ends up being a different thing altogether. So sometimes the loose interpretation being what it is. Um, but yeah, I love it. It is absolutely by far one of my favorite movies of all time, and I do love throwing that onto the big screen TV on a nice evening when I can just turn the sound all the way up to 11. You know, that's the important thing. I'm one of those. I'm one of those people that likes the movie theater experience volume. More than anything else. I'm coming in with just a hint of this of the yellow, just a hint, and then just a touch of that. So yeah. And I'm going to try to give a hint of the technology that is occurring out here as well, but we'll see. I read it, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and it did not do the movie justice. Yeah, I know. It's really it's a different story. It's a different kind of story altogether, right? There's just there's kind of no comparison, right? I mean, you can compare them, right? I'm sorry, I don't mean to say you can't. You absolutely can, right? But it is. I feel like there's a different flavor going on. There's a different tone, and certainly a different environment and technology. This has ended up being lighter. I'm brightening this up more than I wanted to. I'm not happy with that. So yeah. Anyway, Dick didn't always write something great. He did have great ideas, and I think that goes the same with that. Yeah, I agree. He was in a little state of mind, and I don't hold that against him by any means. I think there's a certain amount of madness that goes along with great creativity, right? I hope. I hope that's my excuse. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it, right? Madness takes its toll. But listen closely. Not for very much longer. And I'll let chat take the rest of it from there. There we go. All right. Now that I have this nice bright color, though, this is going to be a good element. I think now I can get into start working on the ship a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I spend half the time whittling this acrylic paint into something that I know that just getting the texture down right, the fluidity down to what I need. All right, let's see if I can pull this off. No, it's still too wet. Here, come here. Get that off of there. Clean that off. Want just a little bit. Still a little too much. That's okay. We'll work on this. Now, this color becomes kind of my like highlight, and I can start shaping the shapes on the ship a little bit. They called it mellow yellow. Yeah, they called it mellow yellow. Scanner Darkly was a great book. Yeah, I think I read Scanner Darkly way back. It was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a good book. I love it. Oh, that's helping this thing sing. See, now I'm getting our highlight edges on our spaceship shape. This is all nice and gruesome down here. So anything with kind of a bright yellow to it like this is going to absolutely make this thing sing. Woohoo! Good books make lousy movies. Yeah. Well, it's a tricky craft, right? And there are, let's see, what are the movies that I think might be superior? No movie I think is superior to the book because the experiences are different, right? But good interpretations, Clockwork Orange. There we go. I feel like both Blade Runner and Clockwork Orange are movies that it can be argued that possibly the experience, while being different, is actually better. I don't know. That's a tough call because I enjoyed Clockwork Orange the book quite a bit. I enjoyed the Android's Dream of Electric Sheep quite a bit. And of course, being the book of Blade Runner, being that what it is, I enjoyed that. Um, and yet at the same time, I feel like nobody has yet pulled off Dune. I mean, they have to different degrees, right? Um, but yeah, the old Dune. Nobody's Dune it right. That's a terrible way to say that. Oh, jeez. Okay, now I feel like there's like video game art going on in this that I'm not addressing. Like in my brain, this looks like this might be, potentially inspired by like some old Atari cartridge artwork, you know, which could be. Ba 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 da ba da 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 da. I want it to feel like there's panels, right? Because that's the way I like my ships, Aztecing panels kind of thing. Yeah, there we go. Dune is too epic for a movie. On that, I would absolutely agree, and I think I agree. I think the miniseries treatment might have been good. I don't dis. I'm like one of the few people I know that I don't dislike the Denis Villeneuve Dune. I like it for what it is. It's still in my mind just kind of but I think it gets back to what you're saying exactly. It's probably Dune is probably beyond the scope for um maybe even a miniseries too. It would definitely require a miniseries to do some of the things I want to see in Dune. Like there was so much intrigue that isn't even addressed in either the David Lynch or the Denis Villeneuve Dune. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on in that. The House Atreides after they take over Arrakis, half the reason they were easy to take apart was because their entire they were destroyed from within, right? There was a lot of suspicion. People that were supposed to be trusted were now not being trusted. It was suspect of possibly working with the Harkonnens, and it was pitting, well, in particular, Lady Jessica against Duncan, Idaho, I think, wasn't it, or Thufir? I forget. Anyway, I'm just forgetting at the moment here. But yeah, that contributes so much to the Atreides downfall, right? And it's frustrating to me that without it, you kind of get this effect of, well, they just sort of fell apart, which isn't how that's not what they were doing. They didn't just fall apart. I thought it was good, except for the guy they got for Paul. To me, he looked too old for the part. It's funny. I think he looked too old for the part too. Honestly, I think Timothy I think he did a good job, and he does peak out age wise. I feel like maybe if they got him 3 or 4 years earlier, at least, I feel like that might have been the case. But yeah, nothing against him. I actually thought he did an okay job. I thought he did an okay job. I thought he did a good job with it. The only performance I have a problem with in the Denis Villeneuve Dune is, and it was, I don't think it's the actress's fault. Well, no, I don't think so. Lady Jessica was much more of a crying kind of emotional person than I got from the description of her in the books. I feel like she was a little bit more in control of her emotional state in the books, and in this one it just kind of nah. I feel like it's sort of what's the feminine version of emasculating, right? I think that she was a little bit more oh my god, help me, than she needed to be, right? And that, I think that is a directorial approach. I don't know. I could be wrong, but how do you emotionally play the scene is really what that comes back down to. All right. Oh, this is just fun. I keep talking. I've talked about my own painting as fun. Well, it is. It's fun to me. It is fun to me. All right, let me get some little bit darker in here. There we go. We're gonna get a little bit more in that. And I'm just like kind of trying to indicate detail in here without actually painting it. Santiago, The Return to Santiago, both by. Well, I'm not familiar with those. I've heard of them, but I have not experienced them. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is getting there like that. Now I need to go the other direction now. Maybe I'll do this with a. I need my darks. I am gonna do a touch of. I don't want to go. I need a little black. I'm gonna just go for a little black, and I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go black with ultramarine blue. I think that's where I want to go with this. We need to get some blues in here. Some blues for the red planet. There we go. I'm just liking my paintbrush here. So I'm going to continue with it. And I mixed this in that on a spot that had some of my my burnt sienna. It's going to bring this to a nice blue gray. There we go. All right, there we are. There. Bum bum. Grab a little bit of that. Now let's just see if we can't have some fun here with this. Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, that's going to work. Oh yeah, totes. All right, so we need some details in here. It's weird. I have a glare on this part. So when I'm painting this section, I'm actually looking up at my looking up here, which is crazy. And now this is not straight black, but it is very, very dark. And I needed this to be kind of, yeah. Okay. Bum ba dum bum bum. Gurney? Yeah, I think that's who it was. Yeah. I think you're right. I think it was the whole hey, it's Gurney Halleck wasn't he's not fighting for us. It might be someone else. Oh, that could be the case. Oh. Which is all being put into her ear by Dr. Yui, if I'm not mistaken, and several other places. There's no glare. Oh, okay. No, the glare is in my eyes. I realize you're not seeing the glare. I'm seeing it. So it's kind of weird. It's all on me, unfortunately. Okay. And then right here in the front, I need a couple of these. because we're kind of looking at the back of the ship. Right, we're looking at the ass end of this ship. The ass end of this ship. I feel like I want to do one of these, yeah. I kind of want to just darken the whole back end part a little bit and down here. Yeah, and then this stuff down here is just weird. Oop. Yeah, this is not working the way this is pretty muddy down here. I'm gonna have to really work at dealing with that. And then this side, we would like a. I do have plans for the back end of this. The reason why I need some more dark is because I have plans. I have plans. I have absolute plans about this section. There we go. Yeah. It's a smaller butt than the Kardashian, yes. Well, you know, a little beefy here and there, but yeah, it's all right. There we go. Okay, there we go. And then a little bit up in here, because this is the back end of this arm. There we go. Back end of that arm up there. There we go. Boom. There, that's going to help. That's going to help. We got this. And I always do like a ventral split on these ships. And I'm going to continue that right here. We're going to continue working that. Okay. All right. Now, let me see. I can't pull this part off. I think I need, oh wait, I need a little bit more on this. There we go. Boop. There we are. Oh, I see what I did. I unfortunately released all of this. That's not what I wanted to do. But fortunately, I actually have that paint. So I'm going to come back in and go, pull that back around. There we go. Pull this in. So there could be like some indication here of the actual stuff. Yes, there we go. Cool. These two movies are good if you've not read the books. For me, it took too much artistic license, especially having Chani opposing Paul. One of the books, she was the strongest supporter. Yeah, that was an odd flip for me too. I felt that was like, okay, I guess if you're gonna have to put your spin on it, then there you go. Can't you just do the book? Do you have to like? You have to change things? All right, we need some engines. Voomp. So we're gonna put some engines in here. Oop, I won't want that. We are going to be hyper driving it. What I found interesting about the Denis Villeneuve Dune is that visually, I felt that it was he was attempting, they were attempting, they, because he had the final say in it. I felt like they were attempting to do the David Lynch design as if it was updated. Like there's definitely some homages to the David Lynch movie in this one, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. And I wasn't too fond of the sandworms. That's the other thing. I wasn't fond of the sandworm design. That was not my favorite part. But that's okay. I'm not going to hold it against them. It's their movie. I'm okay if someone comes out with a movie that doesn't like meet my expectations, right? I can still enjoy it. I'm with you. I do think that it's a very good film on its own. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, here we go. Alrighty. I have that. So I got my engines. kind of want to do I want to see what I can do with my blue. Millennium Falcon engine vibes. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. I got to do that. Got to do the engine vibes. I want to sort of get in a little hint of the blues in here. I mean, I might even do some of that teal in here for the, not teal, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep adding things and adding detail until it comes up. Until it comes up the way I want it. I think there's some opportunity here. Yeah. I've got some white that's tinted with this blue, so I wanted to introduce that. Maybe it would help out with our visual balance a little bit. There we go. I want to see if this is even something I want to address. I want to add the blues in here, this blue tone across this, because it's the one color that's kind of missing from this. And I feel like maybe it's going to need it on here in the Stargate Trails. Let's just see. TTA worthy, thank you. Terran Trade Authority, awesome. Yeah, it's kind of, it's a little bit of a circus here today, actually, this one, but we're just gonna go for it anyway. Okay, I think I know what I need to do to really push this away from the thing. I feel like, yeah, I need to turn this over. Let's turn this around. And let's get in our ship shape. So under here is the actual spaceship itself, and I feel like I need to define it against the backdrop a little bit better. So I'm going to just come in and do some shapes. So all the stuff that's underneath here is just going to be darkened, and I think that's going to help it. So I'm kind of thinking maybe this is like an upside down version of the the Nostromo rig that had the thing on it. So maybe there's stuff underneath it. I wish Cowley would do more of those books. That guy's got to be getting up there. I don't if he's still, I don't even know if he's still alive. I'm not sure. Hey, you know what? If I get enough viewers, I could start doing some of those books. You know that? That would be if I could. I have nothing but time, everybody. If you think I should do kind of my own series of Terran Trade Authority books, I will do them. I'll figure it out. And that's kind of always been sort of the potential for something like this, is to just do my own series of Terran Trade Authority, but with my own flavor on it, right? So, yeah, maybe. You never know. There we go. I think I just threw that one into the wind. Yes, do them, please. Okay, cool. That thank you. I appreciate the enthusiasm. I have the ability to put together books. I absolutely do, and it's just gonna have to be. I'm just gonna have to get up off my butt and do it. Actually, when I was I mentioned my web comic earlier, and I thought to myself maybe I should do like a little short um, a small book, right? Just a small print book and maybe a PDF of all my comics. What would it be? Like 10, 12, 10 or 12 pages? Oh my God. I put my comics in. It's like a 40-page book. I couldn't believe it. So there's definitely possibilities here. So yeah. Okay, I need, what do I need here? What do I need here? I need some titanium white again. Titanium white. This is one scary, this is full of all the colors, everybody. This is like the all the colors version. The only thing I don't really have are the green. I kind of have the greens in there. I used the bright aqua green, but I don't think that's going to be a good back end. I think I'll do some cerulean. I used cerulean earlier, so I think I'm going to do cerulean. I'm trying to think of my my engine glow effect. So let me try this. Gonna mix up some. Here we go. I got some white and some cerulean blue. So I need like my little glow, right? See, that just went that's wrong. That just went chalky. I don't like that. I don't like it nearly as much, but I might be able to do something with it. I might be able to work with it. You go tertiary to the to the thing, and you'll get a little bit of the effect. Might be enough to do it. Kind of hints at there being like a bigger drive in there behind the scenes a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. But I do have a sci-fi novel that I've been working on forever and a day. That's one that it's changed so often that I don't really know what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's changed a number of times, but I've got a good chunk of it. I just don't even want to like open it up to the world until there's something to actually read, which delays. The beautiful thing about the TTA and Galactic Encounters books, in addition to the gorgeous artwork, was the fully developed world and stories. That's right. Yeah, the whole. I think having the stories that go with it is fun, right? Like if I really needed to, I can certainly come up with some I can certainly come up with story ideas for this, but yeah, this kind of thing. I think it'd be fun. I do think I'd like to try it someday. But do 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 do. Oh, I see. I was doing this the wrong way. Okay, I gotcha. I was doing this the wrong way here. I see what I needed to do. Okay. Da, 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 da. There we go. Wow, that's actually kind of fun. And I think I'm going to go down to a smaller brush right here. I want to try something. Let me try a thing. if I do that, and then I'm just going straight white with this, but I'm going to try to give it sort of an indication that there's a thing that's actually happening here. There we go. Something like that. And then if you really, really want to, you can kind of do like the effect. Well, that was probably a mistake. I'm going to try to get rid of that. Maybe we'll add that as a detail. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, I'm kind of open to doing all sorts of fun stuff with any of this. I have nothing but time, right? And all these fun ideas, just a matter of sitting down and doing them. Sitting down and doing them. The life of the artist is pretty crazy. We are definitely doing a lot of things. Just kind of, we're doing all the things. Any given day can be video editing, painting, building models, fixing up web stores, all of that good stuff. Lens flare, you gotta have a lot of lens flare. I know, I was trying for a lens flare. I don't think I could pull that off. I'd like to just do like a nice, gigantic bing of a lens flare. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do the stars thing. I was thinking about doing some stars, but I don't think I'm going to unless they're like just a few out. I can get a few dots of stars. Not even stars. This is just like special effects stuff. Just a few. And of course, just to give it a... There we go. We're just going to give it little bits to lend it on in, and there we go. Lots of lens flare. And just to give it a little air of legitimacy, let's get some, let's get a nice... Any amount of livery, right? Let's just get some stripes on this thing, right? Stripes. Yeah, there we go. Do you make models of the ships and other tech as reference for what you paint? Sometimes I do. I haven't like custom built my own model in a while, but I have I've made them in. We were talking about Blender 3D earlier. I have definitely made things in Blender that I've used it like as perspective reference, and I have painted my own. Like yeah, so I oftentimes I will keep a model handy. Yeah, actually, now that I mentioned it, I did do a couple of things in the last few weeks. When I did that Enterprise, I had my model sitting right next to me. I had an Enterprise D model sitting right there. I recommend it. Like if you can, right? You having that kind of resource is huge. Having a model to draw and paint from is enormous. No doubt. So yeah. Alrighty, I think I'm just going to add a couple of little window effects in there, and then a couple up in there, and a couple out there. Wow, this is crazy, crazy. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up on the main one and see how it's kind of reading to you all from there. Okay, camera's there. There we go. So that's how it's reading in the room. And it's kind of fun. Yeah. Yeah. Holy smokes. Some of it, I like where this is going. I really like where this is going. Um, it's funny how, wow, it's sort of in the realm of what I was looking at. There's a lot of colors competing, like a lot of vibrant colors competing here, but I do like it. Um, trying to think where this is actually going to go. Anyhow, yeah, so I put the head back on. Alrighty, I'm going to grab my coffee, grabbing my drink. I had my coffee's cooled off, but it still works. There we go. I think I'm kind of digging this one. I wonder how much kit bashing is still done now that builders can 3D print the parts for what they need. Well, a lot actually. You sound like you've done some model work, Edie. There, the cool thing about kit bashing is, there's plenty of model kits to be had out there, and most people that build these models have a stash of them. Like the Deep Space Nine behind me, I know it's funny. I actually know more people that have taken that model and used it for kit bashing. A couple of them said that they did it on short movies, that they worked on some low budget sci-fi movies, independent movies that they did. So a lot of these models end up just being kit bashed. No doubt. The 3D printing thing is very curious. I expected it to have an impact, and it has. There's a lot of resin kits today that are just flat out, 3D printed masters, which is very cool. And that's been a thing for a long time, right? I mean, some of the people I knew in the garage kit industry, for instance, had access to SLA, stereolithography printing through the jobs they worked in. So there were a bunch of early 2000s, mid 2000s Star Trek kits I started seeing come in. I'm going, hey, wait a sec! You start noticing the triangles in the geometry. Like, what's up with that? Well, there's they're getting their 3D printing down. They're just learning that you've got to have a higher resolution 3D file, otherwise you get choppiness. So yeah, that's kind of fun. The reality is 3D printing is huge, but it's also kind of a hassle. I don't know of any other way to describe it. It's a little bit of a hassle sometimes. Anyway, I know that there's a lot of people that go out of their way absolutely to 3D print details. That's really cool. And obviously, and structures. That's kind of what I wanted mine for. I want to do some big models of my own designs, and I kind of want a skeleton, a solid skeleton, which means you're either going to have to build it on your own, which is fine, or you 3D print one, which is super cool. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and put my signature on this one. I feel like, and I'm going to have to do it in a lighter color than that. I'm going to just sign this one away. We are going after it because I had a good time with this painting. So yeah. But anyway, the reality of 3D printing is there's a lot of secondary things you got to do. There's a certain point where it's almost easier if you wanted a part that looked like it came straight out of a Deep Space Nine kit, go get the Deep Space Nine kit. It's probably in your collection. And that's the decision making that a lot of people come to. If they want that shape, they're gonna get it, and it's probably already on their shelves. So there we go. Thank you, Houdini Bob. I like this too. There's some things I'm looking at it going, I like this, and then there's some things I'm going, this needs work. So I'm gonna give it my own personal critique here. I like my painting. I like. It is going in the direction that I was thinking of it in. It feels like part of the family I was going for. I felt like I got a little out of control here, and the ship is less defined than I want, but it has all of the things going for it. I feel like this is an excellent contribution to the series here a little bit. I think a little more definition of the ship, maybe toning some of this down would have been the way to go, but yeah, I wanted the rainbow color effect for all of this. Like, I wanted to hint at the Stargate effect you would get as if this thing is driving in. It's a jump gate. It's jump gate 6. Presenting it to you live. Jump gate 6. Anyhow, awesome. Very, very cool. And I'll go ahead and just put it up. I think I'm gonna probably end the live stream on this one. We'll pick up Space Frog another time. I hate to skip a week on him, but I needed to get this one out. This was a lot of fun. Here's what I like. I like the blues and the blacks down here. This feels very comic book art to me. I like that. And I do. This is gonna grow on me, I'm sure. It is. And I'll critique it, and I'll do more. That's what I'll do. I'm going to do more. So if you like this, I will have this after the live stream tonight. I will post a photo of this in the Discord, and you're welcome to take a look at it then. So let me make sure. I'm going to drop those in again just in case. Where's the Discord? There's Discord. There we go. Alrighty. Paste. There we go. Thank you all so much. Absolutely. And of course, if you are subscribed, you get these wonderful Space Frog emojis. And I'm working on getting the animated versions. There we go. I thought it would, but it isn't. Cool. So that's the Discord. I'll be posting it over there. And if you are so inclined, I do have the I'm getting more prints and more originals up on my store. So you can check out the Space Art by Christopher Dahl store there. And finally, if you are so inclined and want to keep up on a lot of the behind the scenes stuff I'm not sharing on any of those, you're welcome to join the Patreon. And thank you to everybody who's following along on Patreon. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be working very hard this year to do more to make it feel more special for you to be on Patreon. And I do appreciate it. And that's where all of my stuff is going to be going, including some of these. So there we go. Awesome. With that, I'm going to let you guys go. Guys and gals and ladies, everybody inclusive. Stay safe, everyone. And we will catch you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. All righty, let me go ahead and get the outro here.
All right, so I've taken my white paint with my little fan brush here. And let's just see how crazy this goes. This is where I throw paint everywhere. just kind of gives it an air of legitimacy that it doesn't deserve. You know?
I have Bob Ross the shit out of this painting.